The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The pressure is on the New York Jets Monday night against the Dolphins. Will Justin Fields play quarterback? The latest on that and much more. Jets insider Nick Faria joins us in his weekly spot. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. The 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now. Here we go. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in. It is the Jake Asman Show. Before we get started, make sure you click the like button. That's the thumbs up button. Make sure you click the subscribe button right over there. That helps us continue to grow. And if you are someone who can't watch the show live, a reminder that we are, in fact, available in audio form. The full YouTube show is posted daily as a podcast on both Apple and or Spotify. So you pick the platform you want to hear the show on, and you can listen back to anything you might have missed. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now in his weekly spot is Jets reporter for JetsXFactor.com, Nick Faria. Nick, happy Friday. Weird to see you not in a button-down or polo shirt. I'm wearing the polo. You're wearing the T-shirt. It feels like we kind of switched roles here.
Just a little bit, right? But great to be back on. It was a nice little relaxation point today. Staying at the in-laws for a little bit and just having some fun with some leisurely clothes on in the office.
Look at you. You look fantastic. How is that office, by the way? It feels like it's still missing a lot of stuff on the wall.
It's missing so much stuff. Here's the thing. So we're coming out with a guidebook for the community of Riverdale, which is going to be great. Paper comes out every week. So once everything sort of settles down, I think I'll be able to sort of decorate this here and there, make it look more sporty, and we'll go from there. But until then, we just move and try to get everything in on time.
Nick, a lot to talk about with you. Of course, the Jets are now 0-3. They're playing a massive game on Monday Night Football against the Dolphins. Give us your thoughts on this team being 0-3. How concerning is it? Should we be concerned? Just your thoughts on this 0-3 start before we look ahead to Monday.
It's certainly disappointing, right? You never want to see your team start 0-3 with a new coaching staff, with a new quarterback. I will say I don't think it's as bad as many people are sort of dooming and glooming about. You look at playing three teams that all made the playoffs last season: Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Tampa Bay. Two of those three are Super Bowl contenders in Tampa Bay and Buffalo. You were really close against the Bucs. You were really close against Pittsburgh. The fact that they are showing incremental improvements in key spots, I think, is important. It's obviously not perfect. You want to see the offense play more consistently from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. You want to see just basic improvements in tackling and coverage than what the secondary has shown. But for the most part, the schedule is going to get a lot easier. It is going to be more manageable. You play a very winnable game against the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. That's a team you should be able to beat. You look at the rest of the schedule, it's Dallas, Carolina, Cincinnati without Joe Burrow, Cleveland, New England. These are winnable games, not mentioning the Denver Broncos, who haven't exactly played well to start the season. So as bad as it's been, and as much as people want to complain about the 0-3 start, there is a path here for the Jets to play some really good football if they are even close to the level that they played against the Steelers and against the Buccaneers.
All right, Justin Fields. Let's start with him as we start to look ahead to this game on Monday. As of now, he's still in the concussion protocol. However, he practiced again today. That's the second day in a row that he's practiced. Aaron Glenn saying yesterday essentially that if Justin Fields clears protocol, he will start. The fact that he's gotten through 2 days of practice certainly bodes well for him to start Monday. Give us your thoughts on Fields. What's the latest there? And then, of course, what are you expecting now on Monday night?
I'm a firm believer he's going to play on Monday. And you look at it, when a quarterback, first off, the clear demarcation point for a player coming back and playing after concussion is practicing that first practice, that non-padded practice to get him acclimated. That's always the first step towards clearing protocol. The second and third practices, getting them back up to speed, ramping them up in pads. That's the next part of that protocol process. The fact is, he practiced on Thursday, then he went through another protocol, passed that, he's practiced again today. It all seems like he's in line and set to go to take on Tua and the Dolphins come Monday night.
If he plays, do you think he's going to be timid at all to take off and run because he's coming off the concussion, or do you think Justin Fields will look like Justin Fields?
I think he's going to look exactly like Justin Fields. And you're starting to see this with a lot more quarterbacks now who suffer injuries. Whether it's a concussion, whether it's a lower body injury, whether it's a shoulder injury, there really is no major difference in the tendencies of which they operate. We've seen Justin Fields, for the most part, in the early stages of the season, try to be more of a pocket passer, try to win from the pocket with his arm. He hasn't been scrambling as much as we've normally seen from him in Chicago and Pittsburgh. So I'm a firm believer that that's going to continue to happen. He's going to want to trust his offensive line. He's going to want to be able to find guys down the field. The big question is, can he? We saw the greatness of Justin Fields in week 1 against Pittsburgh. He was throwing the ball really well. He was accurate. He was making the right decisions. He was decisive. In Buffalo, we saw a completely different quarterback. 2 completions within the first 3 quarters, just wasn't good overall. I don't think the tendencies are going to change. I just think the quarterback himself needs to be the aggressor, needs to go out and make some plays with his arm before we even worry about his legs.
Great comment here from Snowball, Jets Worldwide. Is this the concussion ball? On one side, you have Fields coming back from a concussion. On the other, Tua, he's one hit away from maybe his career being over. I hate to say that. I'm not rooting for that, of course, but he's dealt with so many of these head injuries in his career. So, that is an interesting angle to this game beyond the usual stuff we'll get into. Jets, Dolphins, primetime, big rivalry, all that and more.
And the other thing is this. We talked to Aaron Glenn yesterday. We put out an article on X Factor about it. He has been around for 2 of the most popular games of this rivalry. Obviously, the fake spike game with Dan Marino in 1994, but Jumbo Elliott's touchdown catch in the Monday Night Miracle in 2000. Aaron Glenn was a part of it, and he kind of spoke about it. He joked the 94 game, the fake spike. He was the cornerback that Dan Marino went up against, and that particular play ended up losing the game on. But then he saw the team able to make a comeback. He mentioned how great of a game it was. Having a coach that understands these kinds of rivalries, so important for a team and for a fan base, because they understand that this coaching staff isn't taking a game like this lightly. They understand where they need to be. They understand where they need to improve. That's all you can ask for right now at this point in his first year with the team.
If you're watching live right now, please click the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Football Friday. We always step up our giveaways in show on Football Fridays. This morning, we gave away a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey. And right now, let's announce what we're going to give away at the end of today's show. A signed Wayne Corbett jersey, baby. Mr. Third Down, the Green Lantern. Signed Corbett jersey up for grabs. To enter, you have to gift the channel membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher. We will continue these giveaways because the community continues to be amazing. And make sure you tune in this week. Tuesday morning, first show. Most likely first show. If the Jets lose Monday night, I might be too depressed. I might move the raffle back a few days. But planning on doing Tuesday morning, we'll give away the signed Sack Exchange jersey, the signed Bart Scott jersey, and the signed CJ Mosley jersey, part of our weekly prizes. And thank you to Dom D'Angelo, who's doing a great job cutting up some shorts for us on social media for the show. He's the first to enter today. He gifted 1 channel membership. Nick, as far as this game goes on Monday, so many storylines, but I think just from a Jets standpoint, at 0-3, Glenn saying they're not the same old Jets. If you're not the same old Jets, then this is a game you have to win. If you want to say the first 3 weeks, you're playing really good teams, combined records 8-1, fine. But this feels like one of those like early season, early regime litmus tests to see kind of where the Jets are at. Because if you can't beat the Dolphins now, when are you going to be able to beat the Dolphins in any game that actually matters?
It's ugly in Miami right now, too. They're the team that had a team meeting after a week 1 loss, the first time I've ever seen that covering the NFL and just being a fan of the league. this is a game they can't really lose. I mean, Miami's offensive line is very, very bad. You seemingly have the answer to the Dolphins' receiving core, and your defensive line should be good enough. The front seven should be good enough to stop these zone runs. Offensively, the Dolphins don't have a single cornerback that I look at and say, he's a starting caliber player. Storm Duck is the main guy, and he missed practice yesterday. So this secondary is atrocious. The front four is mediocre at best. They've got some good edge rushers, but to me, they're not really good against the run. This offense should look a lot better than they have over the last couple of weeks, especially if Justin Fields returns back to the game. And this defense should be playing a lot better. This is a game they can't lose. The Dolphins are really, really bad, and I think it's going to get even worse as the season progresses. The Jets need to win this game. They just need to win it. It doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter if it's a 3-point win, a 10-point win. It doesn't matter. Win the game. That's the MO here.
The last time the New York Jets won in Miami, Rex Ryan's last game as the Jet head coach. Now, the caveat is they did beat the Dolphins when the Jets were technically the road team in that game in London back in 2015. But strange things happen when the Jets play in Miami. They've lost so many games that they should have won. There's been some ugly blowouts there. But once again, here's the opportunity, right? Dolphins dealing with a lot of issues. You mentioned some of their injuries. Storm Duck is injured, and there's some reports about maybe Jason Allen Storm Duck having to take over for him. Are you aware that the Dolphins have a player on their team, by the way, named Storm Duck?
Their cornerback, yeah.
What I didn't know is that Storm Duck is actually related to one of our most famous listeners, Jason Allen Storm Duck. Let's go to Beast Breaker to confirm the relationship here. Beast, your thoughts?
You're a dead man. You're a dead man.
I'm a dead man? What if I told you it was Gator McCluskey?
You're a dead man. Do I look like a duck to you?
You guys are related. Jason Allen Storm Duck.
You can take that picture and shove it up your big ass. Go fuck yourself.
Hey, can you move your mic that's not plugged in and serves no purpose? What was it like to FaceTime with everyone at the event on Saturday?
Hey, now this looks great. Sippy, come on in. Whoa, hey, whoa.
Your thoughts on Jason Allen Storm Duck, Nick Faria?
Man, if Jason Allen Storm Duck is playing, I think the Jets could go for 500 yards passing. Let's just put it that way.
Wow. There you have it, folks. All right, a couple gifted memberships here, then more on the matchup. Plus, when Nick joins us on Fridays, we're going to do some Jets-related over-unders that you can find on FanDuel, some prop bets on some of the key players, and we'll get a feel for how Nick sees this one playing out. Shout out to the Jetstream 1989 who won a raffle prize yesterday, and he's in it for more. 5 gifted memberships. Jetstream, you got a chance to win a signed Wayne Corbett jersey at the end of the show. Good luck to you. Hit it. Hell yeah. And then the Burkinator checking in with a 10 spot of channel memberships. Let's go.
JETS. Yes. All right, let's go.
Thank you, Dream. Hopefully the Dream is awake for the Jets game on Monday night. Nick, in terms of Aaron Glenn this week, right? A lot of talk about him being excited on the Will McDonald play. A lot of talk about, whether or not a head coach should be acting that way. I loved his answer he gave to you guys yesterday when being asked about it. What have been your thoughts just on how Aaron Glenn has navigated the early portion of the schedule here and just some of that pressure that is seemingly on this team, especially after he says, they're not the same old Jets going into this one?
Yeah, I'm not going to be the Chris Broussard saying, hey, I don't like it. I love it. Not going to do that. But I will say, I thought his antics were awesome. I mean, you look at the video, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the dubs over it, the music over it. I absolutely love it. And I agree. I thought his answer yesterday was great, just saying, I'm going to be me. This is who I am. If I wasn't going to be like that on the sideline, my wife and kids would essentially ask what's wrong. It's a big contrast to what we saw in the previous regime with Robert Saleh, where it just felt like the entire weight of coaching in New York really fell on him in that first year. I mean, it happened very, very early. The fact that Aaron Glenn continues to be himself as a first-time head coach, essentially saying, listen, I'm going to be me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to celebrate when there is something to celebrate. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And again, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. The players certainly love it. Garrett Wilson spoke today about it, saying he loved watching his coach be passionate. Mason Taylor's talked about it. It just comes back to the original point here. Winning cures all. We can talk, and every Jets fan, every Jets analyst that I have talked to, Jake, you mentioned it when they were searching for a head coach. You wanted someone who could build a culture, right? Am I right in saying that? I know Will Parkinson said the same thing. It's all about finding a coach who can build a culture. Building a culture equals winning, and that's essentially what it comes down to. As much as Aaron Glenn wants to talk about doing things the right way and building it the right way in their culture, it all comes back to winning. If they are able to win on Monday, then the culture takes a big step forward. If they go on a 5-game winning streak, then the culture takes a big step forward. That's essentially where we're at here. The Jets need to be able to rack up some wins to really show that this coaching staff understands and can put this team in the right position to succeed. It may not happen right away. They may not be able to get to 9-10 wins this year. But if they're seeing improvement and incremental improvements in games and actually winning some of these close games that they have in the last few years, that's going to be a major step forward for Glenn and a major step forward for proving that these are not the same old Jets, as he has repeatedly said in the last week.
The same old Jets, something that we as fans will determine whether or not you are the same old Jets. That's how I would look at it. Now, before we continue to talk about this game, and as promised, we will get to some over-unders, some props, some higher, lowers, however you want to describe it for Jets Dolphins. The latest injury report is out since the Jets are playing on Monday Night Football. A Friday is really a Thursday, so there'll be one more injury report tomorrow, and then, of course, the game is on Monday. But here's the latest from the Jets, some improvements with some key guys here who were limited yesterday. Tony Adams, a full participant. That's an improvement over a limited yesterday. Also, Josh Reynolds looks like he is fully on track to return this week. I never thought I'd be saying how big of a deal that is, but seemingly his blocking has been sorely missed. He's a full participant. Jay Tafili, he's been dealing with an illness. He was a full participant. So everyone who was limited yesterday is now a full participant today. Kene Nwanu limited for the second straight day. So not everyone, but Kene still is at least out there doing stuff. So that's a positive sign. The two DNPs, Jarvis Brownlee, who they acquired, doesn't sound like he's going to play at all. And then Jermaine Johnson, Glenn saying he's week to week. Doesn't sound like Jermaine's going to play either, Nick. So give us your thoughts here. The latest injury report for Friday ahead of Jets Dolphins.
Yeah, absolutely. Brownlee, Johnson, I think it's pretty safe to say they aren't going to play. Aaron Glenn wasn't really given a vote of confidence that they would be close to playing, at least at this point, going into next week. But the injury report is a positive. Tufele had a very good offseason, very good training camp. They want to see him back on the field. Josh Reynolds is a very good number 2, number 3 blocking wide receiver. He's an important piece. The question's going to be what happens with Tony Adams now. Malachi Moore, I thought he was okay against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He wasn't great, but you're going to want to see rookies start to get more and more playing time as the losses pile up. There's no reason to play a player who's on a 1-year deal and is going to be a free agent next year over a rookie who could get some valuable reps. So I'm interested to see what Steve Wilks does in the secondary. Will he play Adams if he returns? Will they still trust Malachi Moore to be the starting safety? That's a big question mark. And in the return game, Kenny Nwanu is massive, absolutely massive for this team. The last couple of weeks, special teams has been a big, big problem on the kickoff returns. They're not starting past the 30, and that's where teams want to start moving forward. Anything below that really seems like a failure, and they don't have anyone they really trust right now to be the consistent returner that they're looking for. Nwanu certainly fits that bill. He's one of the best return men in this game when he's fully healthy. Getting him back on the field is very, very important. The fact that he's a limited participant doesn't mean much. You want to see what happens tomorrow when they practice on Saturday. But he's a player, a very underrated player on this team going into Monday night.
Ladies and gentlemen, some super chats that cut the line. The big fella starts us off. He says, is Jermaine Johnson turning into the Jets version of Mitchell Robinson? If he's out next week, wouldn't have made sense to put him on IR earlier. Well, the fact that they didn't put him on IR, Nick, wouldn't that lend some credence to the fact they think he could be back as early as next week if he doesn't play on Monday?
Exactly that. They think that there's an opportunity there for Johnson to get back on the field next week. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be, but they want to see how he progresses. If they put him on IR, he can't practice, essentially, for 4 weeks. They have to open up his practice window. There's a full process that you have to go through. Just leaving him on the injured report at least allows him to continue to rehab under his own weight where he can be activated and be ready to go any moment that he is ready to play on the field.
The other point of our other part of his super chat here I don't know if Jermaine and Mitchell Robinson is the best comp because I
No.
feel like Mitchell Robinson has done more than Jermaine has at this point. Like Mitchell Robinson, like he's clearly established himself as like one of the premier, defenders and rebounders in the league, and he's dealt with so many more injuries. Jermaine is a guy that, I mean, he's only in his third year, so I don't want to just like slap like the injury prone label on Jermaine just yet, right? Like he had the season ending injury. This past or last year, right? So that was his third season. He's in his fourth season now. He rolled an ankle. It feels like it's a high ankle sprain based on the fact that he wasn't seen wearing like a boot or anything around the locker room. I heard Brian Costello say that earlier this week. So I don't know. I don't want to put the Mitchell Robinson label on him because I don't know if we could say Jermaine Johnson's injury prone yet. He's had one catastrophic injury and he rolled an ankle. Like if he comes back and is healthy the rest of the way, like I don't know, does that make him injury prone? Your thoughts?
This first half of the season, I've been pretty consistent that this first half of the year was always going to be a challenge for Jermaine Johnson because of him coming back from the Achilles. He's trying to get trust in his leg. Obviously, return to injury reports isn't exactly great, but it's also not inconsistent to other players who have suffered Achilles injuries before. Very, very common for a player to go from an Achilles recovery into other injuries just because they're overcompensating in one leg or the other. His first year is all about building trust back in him and just being able to play on the football field consistently. So I think that's an important distinction there. And I agree. I think Mitchell Robinson, I don't want to say, I understand that he's injury prone, but he's also just immensely valuable to the Knicks, immensely valuable in today's NBA. Every time he's playing in a playoff game, you understand that, yes, he can't hit free throws, but boy, if you need a rebound or you need a defensive stop, he is there for you. He's insanely clutch in that regard, and we haven't seen that from Jermaine Johnson yet throughout his career.
Cash Money Mike in the building. Cash Money. Hey now, hit it. It's our game to win. Let's go Jets. Hopefully a better showing than the USA team's giving us at Bethpage. The Wayne Corbett jersey would look nice next to my Mawai signed jersey I won on the show. Go Jets. Cash Money Mike, good luck. You are officially in our signed Wayne Corbett jersey raffle for 2. Yeah, not a great showing seemingly at the Ryder Cup right now for Team USA. It's still early, though. They're still playing the afternoon guys right now. I have it on in front of me. Are you a golf guy at all, Nick?
I am starting to get into it. I have not watched a single lick of the Ryder Cup, though.
I have it on. I don't think I'd care too much if I wasn't, a Long Islander that has been the Bethpage. In fact, I was the best man at a wedding in March at Bethpage Black. And I told this story to Fireman Ed. I think it was off air, though, so I don't know if I said it on the air because we were talking about this before the show this morning. So my buddy Dan, he got married at Bethpage Black in March, right?
Oh,
5 years earlier, we went to the PGA Championship, me and my other friend Jake. So it was the three of us. And Dan is not even a big golf fan, but our friend had an extra ticket, so he went. And he fell asleep while we were sitting on the 18th hole, like watching the golfers. He fell asleep. 5 years later, he's getting married at Bethpage Black. Guy's not a golf fan at all. How funny.
I'm from Rhode Island, so I'm hearing all these things later on. I only just moved to New York when I went to college, and the story goes, my father-in-law, who's obviously a big golfer, and he's been watching the Ryder Cup this entire time. He went to the Open when it was there a few years ago, gets a golf ball from Phil Mickelson as he throws it in the crowd, tries to get it signed, and Mickelson blows him off. So, I mean, hey, it happens. It's still a great story. You still want to be able to have those connections. And I hear it's a beautiful golf course, too. So I'm excited that it's here on Long Island. I'm very excited that it's getting its due. And hopefully Team USA can turn this thing around.
Craig Broker, he is entering the Asmaniac raffle for 5. A lot of entries already. Good to see it. He's in for 5 to win a Corbett jersey. You got a membership from Craig. Make sure you thank him. Dixon with a super chat here. He says, don't accept anything in a win. You wouldn't in a loss. Winning may cure a lot, but still got to fix mistakes. I agree with that, Dixon. There's no doubt. However, this team just needs to win, right? If you're a new coach like Aaron Glenn is and Darren Muji coming in with a new front office, you want players to stay as bought in as they seemingly were at the beginning of the season or in training camp when, Nick, you were there every day around the team. Like if Glenn's preaching, hey, we want you to do it this way because I promise you're going to see results. We're not the same old Jets. We're going to win games. Well, then you actually have to start winning games because it will fall on deaf ears if he's continuing to say, we're going to do this. It's going to work. We're going to do that. And then you're not getting results. Then you're no different than Salah, Ulbrich, Gase, Foles. Like, you're no different than any of these guys if you don't start winning games at some point here. And the schedule, you brought it up, a lot of winnable games coming up besides just Miami on Monday. Dallas can't play any defense. They're 1-2. Denver, very good team, but that's a neutral site. They're 1-2. Carolina 1-2. Cincinnati does not have Joe Burrow. Cleveland's 1-2. These are all winnable games. They won't win all of them because it's the Jets, but these are all winnable games for them to start building this culture, which you need to win games to do.
Let's say they go 3-3. They're 3-6 after the stretch, or maybe even 4-6 after the stretch. It's one of those things where you're trying to build momentum. You're trying to build that culture. And it may not end up being that they get to 8-9 wins, but if the quality of play improves and they're actually playing good football, but just making 1 or 2 mistakes at the end, that has to be progress. I mean, last season, you had games where the team was just giving up. That Arizona Cardinals game is one of the more embarrassing games, embarrassing showings that I have ever seen from a team in my life. They didn't really care about it from opening kickoff to the end of the game. That's something you don't want to see. So you want to be able to get that improvement, that incremental improvement from game to game that we did not see under Robert Saleh, and we did not see really on the last few head coaches for the Jets. If they can get to a point where they start racking up wins and building momentum and playing good football, finding that identity offensively and defensively, then you're going to start to see everything start to change in the culture of this team.
As far as the game goes on Monday, Nick, if the Jets win, what's their game plan to getting it done? How do they pull this off?
Well, I'm going to say the recommitment to the running game has to happen. They haven't really run the ball as effectively as they did in week 1. But this also is going to come down to Justin Fields. This Miami Dolphins secondary is atrocious, and I mean absolutely atrocious. There's not a single cornerback that I think you can trust to be an NFL starter at this level. And yes, the Dolphins have Minkah Fitzpatrick. No one's taking that away. But Fitzpatrick is also older. This secondary group is very, very bad. Justin Fields should be able to throw the ball consistently and at will going into this matchup. On the defensive end, it's all about pressure. Getting Tua Tagovailoa off of his spot, getting him in an uncomfortable situation where he has to move outside the pocket, and then also making sure that you jam these receivers enough where you are altering the pass reps that they are going to try to use. It's kind of similar to what back in the day with the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts under Peyton Manning were all about timing. If you pressed and you were physical with these guys and you knocked off that timing, they were going to have problems throwing the football. It was very difficult to do, obviously, because Manning won so many games in Indy then, but it's kind of that same process. It's a matter of making sure you get this passing offense off its spot, off its timing, and then you're going to be able to be in advantageous situations on defensively to be able to throw the ball more on offense.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Thank you to Omar Ochoa, who is the latest listener to join the Asmaniac raffle. For those tuning in late, signed Wayne Corbett jersey up for grabs at the end of today's stream. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, you could always read Nick Faria's work over at jetsxfactor.com and follow him on X as well. We got open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation, and we will get to your calls. But we are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. They are my official sportsbook. If you're betting on anything this weekend, Monster Sports Weekend, whether you're a Yankee or a Mets fan, whether you're into the Ryder Cup, a stacked college football slate tomorrow, all the games Sunday, and then the game we care the most about on this very show, Jets Dolphins, Monday Night Football, part of a doubleheader on ESPN. Nick, every time you come on the show on Fridays, we like to break down the matchup as we just did, and then we like to dish out some over-unders ahead of the game. So we'll start with passing yards. We know it will be Justin Fields in all likelihood against Tua. Here are the passing yards props. Once again, all these odds courtesy of FanDuel. Tua Tagovailoa, or as Jet fans hope we can refer to him as, Tua turn the ball over under 243.5 passing yards for Tua.
I'll take the under. And the reason why is for Miami, the game plan is going to be they want to run the football consistently, whether it's with Achane or any other of their running backs. The Dolphins need to run the ball effectively in order to have any semblance of control on offense. So I think Tua's going to throw the ball probably not as much of a similar clip as we have seen in past years. I'll take the under there.
Going under on the passing yards, I would probably go over. I just think the Jets secondary, I can't trust them right now. I see a higher scoring game, so I would lean with the over, but I hope you're right. Justin Fields, over under 186 and a half passing yards.
Yeah, see, this is the one where I have to take the over, right? I mean, even with Fields coming back from a concussion, this Dolphins secondary is atrocious. Storm Duck is cornerback number 1, and he may not play on Sunday. So I look at this. I think this is a game where Justin Fields should easily have over 200 yards passing. He should be in for a big game.
He's going over on Fields. I would go over on Fields as well. That's just such a low number in today's NFL. I just feel like you got to play the over.
Storm Duck, baby. Hope he plays. We'll see.
Storm Duck, Jason Allen, Storm Duck. Who will be out there for the Dolphins at corner? All right, we gave you passing yards. How about passing touchdowns now? Over under 1.5 for each of these quarterbacks. We'll start with Tua. Over under 1.5 touchdown passes for Tua and the Dolphins.
I'm going to save you the time. I think it's the under for both quarterbacks. I think, again, this is going to be a run-focused game. Tua's going to be wanting to hand the ball off a lot, trying to protect himself against this defensive line. And Justin Fields, I can certainly see him having one touchdown pass and then a couple of touchdown runs like he did on opening day against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I don't think this is going to be a multi-touchdown game through the air for either of these guys.
I think I would probably take the under on Fields and I guess the under on Tua too. I don't feel as confident in that one, and the odds kind of reflect that just based on how it's listed. I would take the under on Fields, not because I don't think he's capable of playing well. I think he might have a rushing touchdown or Brees is finding the end zone. So, yeah, I'm with you definitely on Fields. I feel stronger on that. But if you could see the odds underneath the 1.5, it's heavily juiced at minus 220. The over is, where they want you to bet it. They want you to go over.
Let's do it.
There's the plus money there. All right, how about receiving yards? This combines all the key players on both sides here. So we'll go one by one here. Tyreek Hill, receiving yards. His over-under set at 68.5. You going over or under on Tyreek?
I'm going to go over on Tyreek, mainly because Jalen Waddle, I know he's hurt. He's probably going to be playing on Monday night. But Hill just seems to be the guy that Tua is going to target the most. He's always wanted to target him in this particular matchup against Sauce and against Brandon Stevens specifically. That's a matchup I think the Jets are going to struggle with.
I see everyone in the chat is playing along as well. Keep sending in your over-unders. Make sure you clarify what you're specifically responding to so we can get a little feel from the Asmaniacs in the chat where everyone's leaning. Garrett Wilson, Nick, over-under 62.5. I mean, I'll spoil mine on this. I feel like you almost have to play the over because Garrett is the focal point of this offense. And in the games where the Jets, at least at times, were functional, if not exceptional in that first game, Garrett went over his projected receiving yards number. So I'd go over on Garrett. What say you?
I don't mean to be a recurring theme here, but the Dolphins don't have anyone that can cover Garrett Wilson. The Jets need to get him the ball consistently, and they will in this game. That's another easy one that I think is going to go over.
Over for Garrett. How about Jalen Waddle? 50.5, his number set.
I think it's going to be under. I think it'll probably be around 45, 47 maybe. But I think you do think with the injury, he's been banged up over the last couple of weeks. I think it's a safe bet that he'll be under, particularly if this Jets defense plays better than they have in recent weeks. And I do think we're going to get to a point where this secondary will be playing better than we have seen over the last start to the year.
Mason Taylor. This is an interesting one. Mason Taylor against the Dolphins. Of course, his dad, a legendary Miami Dolphin, former Jet too, Jason Taylor. I'm hoping we get Mason Taylor's first ever touchdown in this game. And then they pan to Jason Taylor in the crowd wearing Jets gear, all excited. And we really stick it to the Dolphins and what could be their funeral game for their coach. But anyway, we'll get to that coming up. Mason Taylor, 19.5, his receiving yards. Glenn saying this week, they want to get him the ball more. I would play the over just on that. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. The minute that Aaron Glenn said, we need to get Mason Taylor the ball more, I said, okay, hit the over every time he touches the field now. So safe bet that he's going to have over 20 yards receiving in week 4.
Devon Achane, over under 40.5 receiving yards.
This is one I think is going to go over. I think the Dolphins are going to want to get the Jets linebackers in a difficult spot, and I think they can. Jamien Sherwood hasn't had a very good start to the season. Kiko Magoa is a player that could be starting next to him at linebacker without McCrary Ball or Quincy Williams on the field. This is a matchup that the Jets are going to struggle with this week, and certainly a big game for A-Chain could be coming.
Breece Hall, over under 23.5 receiving yards. Week one, I felt like a genius. I'm like, oh my God, it's at 19.5, play the over. And he had it like in the first quarter. But since then, they really have not used Breece much in the passing attack. It's still a relatively low number. Is this the week the Jets finally get Breece Hall going in the passing game?
Absolutely. And again, we can be frustrated with that in that regard. But at the end of the day, a big problem that the Jets have been facing is pressure against Buffalo, against Tampa Bay. With the amount of pressure that they have faced along the offensive line, it's forced the running backs to have to settle in as blockers instead of receivers. I thought Tanner Rankstrain has done a very good job for the first 3 weeks as a play caller, and he has even acknowledged that they need to get Breece Hall the ball more in the passing game. So I certainly think that Hall's over is going to be hit in the receiving game, at least at this point.
Real quick, two more. Malik Washington, over under 18.5 receiving yards. Darren Waller, over under 11.5 receiving yards.
I'm going to go over with Darren Waller. I do think it's a matchup the Jets could struggle with if Waller is able to play consistently in this game. Washington, I'm going to stick with the under on this one. I think Waller is a little bit more of a better fit in this matchup for Miami than a player like Washington.
Okay. From receiving props now to a rushing prop. Let's talk about player rushing yards, and let's start with the Dolphins side of things. Devon A-Chain, over under 54.5 rushing yards.
I'm going to say over, but not by much. I think he will probably be the leading rusher for the Dolphins, but I think at like 60, 65. It's not going to be that he overshoots the over, blows it out of the water. So I think he'll hit the over, but just barely.
Breece Hall, I like this one a lot. Over 56.5 rushing yards. Breece against a Dolphins defense that is giving up 145 yards per game on the ground. I think Breece is going to look like week one Breece in this one. Give me the over.
Yeah, I agree. It's the Dolphins do not match up well with what the Jets want to do on offense. This is a big-time match for him. Quite frankly, every single Jets runner here, Justin Fields, Braylon Allen, I think you can hit the over and feel pretty confident going into this game because the Dolphins' defense is just terrible. It's just flat-out terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Fields now. This is interesting because I don't know if this is too high. You could even argue it's too low given Miami's issues running or stopping the run. Fields 47.5 his rushing yards. Your thoughts, Nick?
I still think it's going to be over. Again, it may not be by much. He might get to 55, 60 yards. But we want to complain about the Jets defense, and I understand why. But Miami's defense is terrible. Like, it has just been awful, unwatchable for the first 3 weeks of the season. And I get they've played some tough teams here and there. Indianapolis looks a lot better than people expected. They got ran through by Buffalo, just like the Jets. But quite frankly, when it comes down to it, I think Fields is going to have a big day running. I think Breece Hall is going to have a big day running. And this other guy, too, and Braylon Allen. I think these are just easy bets.
Braylon Allen, over 14.5. It sounds like you just alluded to the fact you would take the over there.
I think that's one carry he'll be able to get. He gets 16, 17 yards, and boom, he hits the over. This Dolphins team is really bad on defense.
All right, touchdown scorers now. I'm going to pull that up for you. Now, one of the guys that I want to bet for touchdown scorers is so far down on the odds, it's going to be a long shot bet that I feel great about. But here are the latest touchdown scorer bets from FanDuel. Let's start with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, and Justin Fields. Who of those four names are you the most confident in scoring a touchdown in this game?
Got to be Justin Fields. It just has to be because of his ability as a runner in the red zone. Quarterback sneaks, tush pushes, zone reads. I think this is an easy bet overall. Braylon Allen, the short yardage game is something I'm a little bit concerned of. The Jets essentially telegraph every time they're going to go to Braylon Allen into the game when they try to run the football. They need to do a better job of sort of disguising that and allowing him to get downfield. But I do think Justin Fields at any point in this game is going to get a rushing touchdown. It's one of the easier bets I would think of. One player not on this list, though, that I think I'm with you, Jake, Mason Taylor. I think we all can understand playing in Miami, where his dad was a legendary football player, a Hall of Famer. I think he gets his first touchdown of his career in this game.
If you want the odds on Mason Taylor on FanDuel right now is currently plus 470 to score a touchdown anytime in this game. If you think he's going to score the first touchdown of the game, plus 2,200, meaning $100 on Mason Taylor to get the party started for the Jets Monday night. We'll pay you $2,200. And then if you want to bet on Mason Taylor to score the last touchdown of the game, Mason Taylor plus 1,800 is the last number you see there on the screen. At plus 470, Nick, I love it. I might have to bet that. I think Mason Taylor is due to find the end zone. $20 on Mason Taylor to score a touchdown on Monday wins you 94 at plus 470 on FanDuel right now.
I mean, let's think about it here. The head coach is saying we need to get him the football more. The offensive coordinator says, yeah, we need to get him the football more. I think we're going to see a heavy dose of Mason Taylor against the Miami Dolphins, and it would be an easy, no-brainer situation for Justin Fields to target him. I've liked what I've seen from Mason Taylor at this point in his rookie campaign. Most people that wanted to see more didn't really understand that the tight end position is a complex role to learn early on for rookies. I have liked what I've seen. I think he's going to come through with his best game so far as a Jet.
Mason Taylor, find the end zone, and then camera, please pan to Jason Taylor.
Oh, you know that's going to happen. You know that's going to happen.
JJ with a super chat. Thank you, JJ. You joined our raffle for 2. I see we just had a viewer spike for those tuning in late. We are giving away an awesome prize today. Football Friday, we step it up with the giveaways. A signed Jermaine Johnson jersey on the first show today with Fireman Ed. And with Nick right now, we're giving away a signed Corbett jersey at the end of the show. JJ says, what's your prediction for how the defensive starters will look / lineup come Monday night? I have a feeling we will see some big changes to the starting defense starting Monday. Nick, do you see any big changes to this defense?
Well, outside of just the normal ones that come from injury, what I mean is maybe Kiko Maigoa getting the start at potentially linebacker next to Jamie Sherwood, which is in play. Michael Clemons getting the start over Jermaine Johnson, which is obvious. Malachi Moore could potentially be getting the start over Tony Adams, even though Adams is coming back from injury. The big question is what's going to happen at corner. They haven't liked what they've seen from Michael Carter. They haven't liked what they've seen from Brandon Stevens. The trade for Jarvis Brownlee, the fact that Aaron Glenn essentially said that he can play both outside and inside tells me that the team wants to see more from Michael Carter II. Does that mean they're just going to flat out replace him? I don't think so. But the rope is getting thinner for Stevens and Carter, and I would not be surprised eventually if we see the Jets try to make some sweeping moves in the secondary next to Sauce Gardner. Sauce is there. He's entrenched. He's the main guy. But who plays on the opposite side of the field remains a big question, particularly if these two other players continue to struggle.
I don't know if we'll see anything major lineup-wise. I mean, they haven't benched Clemons yet. That doesn't seem like that's happening.
They can't. Who are you going to put in for him? But like, in theory, and I'm not arguing for Clemons and saying that he's a great player. He's not. But who exactly do you want him to play behind? Who do you want to have play ahead of him at this point? You can't play a defensive tackle on the edge every single down. You have to be able to rotate these guys in, which means Clemons is going to get the start. That's just essentially where we're at.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Faria is with us here. So if you have a question for Nick, write it in and we'll bring it up on the screen. Super Chats cut the line. Robin says, I went to 2005's win in Miami with a Dolphin fan, Florida cousin. Cool part is we own the Dolphin Stadium, and as we left, we did the Jets chant, and it was loud AF. I'm channeling that this weekend. Let's go. I mean, the Jets are so due to beat the Dolphins in Miami. It's insane. It's been since Rex's last game, since they won in that building.
But listen, this is the year to do it too, right? I mean, the Dolphins are terrible. The defense stinks. The offense is a ticking time bomb. The offensive line stinks. And the coaching staff is one more loss away from getting fired. So I think overall, I think this is a good situation for the Jets to come away with a win, and the first win in the Aaron Glenn era.
To your calls we go. Chuck Wagon is first up on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Hello, Chuck Wagon.
Hey guys. Hey Nick. One of my biggest concerns, and I brought this up about 2 weeks ago, is the turnovers that our defense cannot cause. It's been 3 games. I'm not sure what the record is for a Jets team to not have a turnover after X amount of games, but are you really as concerned as I am when it comes to their defense and not being able to turn anybody over?
No, and here's why. And I want to make this point because it's kind of sweeping for this entire defense. Steve Wilkes has been a zone guy pretty much his entire career as a defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn has been more of a man guy his entire run as a defensive coordinator. These two are marrying two completely different defensive philosophies together and trying to build a cohesive unit. By the end of the season, I do think this unit is going to be really, really good. But it will take time. It has taken time. The group hasn't played well for the most part, and injuries have played a part in it. Scheme has played a part in it. Adjustments have been an issue for it. It's about finding the right identity that fits the talent on this roster that they're still trying to figure out. So, again, it's concerning that they haven't turned the ball. They forced a turnover. It's concerning that they have been beaten badly by 3 good offenses. But the schedule is going to be a little bit lighter for them moving forward. And I think this matchup against Miami, while they do have talent, they do not have the offensive line to be able to produce at a high level. I think this is a day where the defense can play a lot better than we have seen in recent weeks.
What are we playing more of in the first 3 games that you've seen, Nick? Are we playing more man or more zone?
It's situational. So I think quite frankly, it's been more of a split from the tape that I've seen. You've seen some man, you've seen some zone. But you're seeing man in confusing situations, I think. You look at the pass interference call on Mike Evans on that 3rd and 19 early in that game and that first
3rd and 29.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's even worse. But they're in man. Who's playing man on 3rd and 29? That didn't really make sense to me. And I do think Sauce Gardner kind of got screwed by the referee there. But you've seen those moments early in this season where the Jets are playing man in obvious pass situations where you would want to see zone. And then they're playing zone in situations you want to see them playing man. So I think they're just trying to figure out what they have in this crew before they really hone into an identity. It happens. This is a young coaching staff. They're trying to work it out together. This kind of thing does take time moving forward.
Who's calling it?
Steve
Do you
Wilkes.
know who's calling it?
Steve Wilkes.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean that he's only running his style. Steve Wilkes is a zone guy. He changed his scheme up when he was in San Francisco, and 49er fans hated him. And because they kind of looked at it and said, you're not running what we're supposed to be running, even though he was kind of running players in positions where he didn't really want to put them. So we want to be able to see, and I think Jet fans should at least be a little more patient to see what happens when they play some of these weaker opponents on offense, see what they can do against this offensive line, see what they can do against a receiving core that is banged up like Miami, and see what you can do. Maybe you can force Tua into some bad mistakes.
Jake, if you have the odds up, do you know what the odds are that the Jets cause a turnover? And is it over under 0.5?
Well, I'll tell you what, we probably could look up what the odds are on Tua throwing an interception. So we could go through that and maybe see if there's some value there, Chuck Wagon, because he has turned it over. Good call. I'll see if I can pull that up. But I'll tell you what, Nick, like these 2 teams are the only teams in the league that have yet to force a takeaway. Now, I'd push back slightly and say I would figure the McDonald kick block would be considered a takeaway, but according to my ESPN stats and research notes, it's not. But that being said, like if not now, then when? I mean, they got to be able to force some damn turnovers, man. It's crazy.
Can't be waiting until you play Joe Flacco in a few weeks to get that turnover. It's just unacceptable.
I mean, I'm trying to look here. I mean, you could bet on the defense scoring a touchdown, plus 750 for the Jets defense to score a touchdown. That does not include special teams. Let's see. Let's go to some passing props. Tua to throw an interception. Wow, yes is minus 135. The betting odds favor the Jets to force Tua to throw a pick at minus 135.
But again, I kind of like those odds too because the Dolphins' offensive line is really bad. they could force pressure and force Tua into a bad throw, and someone in the secondary has got to make a play. That's the big question. Can one of these guys make a play?
Justin Fields odds to throw an interception. Yes, but it's plus 104. So it's basically a pick 'em, essentially. No, minus 135. So the odds favor him not to throw a pick, whereas Tua's odds are more likely to throw an interception.
That's the consistency of Justin Fields holding on to the ball longer than he normally does. We'll see. This is a golden opportunity for the Jets defense.
Andrew C. with a super chat. I'm better positioned with Clemons for Monday night. I'll tell you what, the dream out there at edge, you tell me if you think this guy is better than Clemons.
J-E-T-S. Just. All right, let's go.
I want him out there.
He's at least a little more durable than Michael Clemons at this point.
Ace of Spades says, do you think they gave Jermaine Johnson too many snaps too early?
No, I don't. I think you want to be able to get him acclimated in a proper way. They were confident in it. Jermaine Johnson looked great in training camp. I mean, he looked fantastic towards the end, so you want to be able to get him to that point. Again, I think this is just a matter of you are overcompensating post a major surgery. These injuries can happen all the time, and you have to be patient with a young edge rusher like this coming off a major surgery. It happens to everyone. It happens to quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers started last season very, very poorly, and then he picked it up later on in the year as he was a full year removed from his Achilles injury. The longer you take to get away from that injury, the better and more concise, more consistent you will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Andrew C., who says, if I wear a Clemons jersey, maybe we win. Do you own a Clemons jersey to wear, Dream?
God bless you, man. If you have a Michael Clemons jersey, God bless you.
I would love to know who has a Michael Clemons jersey. I think Green Bean actually has a Michael Clemons jersey, believe it or not. I think he does.
It's ugly, man. The tape is ugly for Michael Clemons. And it's one of those things you want to see the development in him because in theory, the intangibles, his body of work, he should be able to be a good run defender. But that clip against Tampa Bay where he doesn't set the edge and he can't get off a block against a tight end, I mean, that's inexcusable. It's just flat out inexcusable for a modern NFL edge rusher to be unable to get by a tight end. It's just, it can't happen.
More of your calls before we wrap with Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Clifton time.
Never forget what our coach said. You play to win the winnable game. So, yeah, I think that our expectations for JJ are a little out of whack because of what we're getting from Clemons. Like he's had these injuries, but at least with him, we know what we're getting. He's a guy who reliably sets the edge in the run game. We know that he is not a bendy, beat you with speed and moves type of guy. He's kind of more of a power type guy, but he can get home if he's right, and that's good enough if he's for your secondary edge, right? As far as the pass rush. Just to kind of trail on what I was saying this morning. Our expectations for our defensive line are being thrown all out of whack because of what we're seeing from Clemons. He's that bad. And, I think that, Clemons is a nice little player. I would have liked to have seen, what he could have become if he didn't have this injury. And he might still have a long NFL career. But it's kind of tough with that injury because of the explosion that you need to have at edge. It's just that, I think that maybe we're overestimating our defensive line quality. because we think that he's still going to be the same old guy, and we think of Clemons as kind of like this, tertiary option or whatever, and he's really not. Clemons has to play because of weaknesses that we discussed earlier with Will McDonald's game against the run, and JJ's injury, and like his own limitations. It kind of goes back to the new regime not recognizing in free agency in the draft that we needed to spend a little bit more capital on being tougher up front.
Or thinking they could fix Clemons. We're Aaron Glenn. We could fix him. He's built like a statue. He's an Adonis.
The intangibles have always been there. The problem is when you're an edge rusher that has more personal foul penalties than sacks recorded in your 4-year career. It's 9 to 7.5. That kind of tells you the story. It's, Philadelphia had Derek Barnett. The Jets have Michael Clemons. And sometimes you just got to move on from those kind of situations.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that kind of Jermaine's thing too? Is like he's kind of a team guy. He's like he's got all these intangible type things, but he's not necessarily your 13, 14 sack per game guy.
Well, I think Johnson could be, but to expect that in year 4 coming off an Achilles, I don't think it's fair to put that on him.
Yeah, that's totally fair. All right, guys, I really appreciate your time.
Kyle, excellent call as always. Nick, score prediction for Monday night. Do the Jets finally get a damn win?
34-21 Jets. I think this passing offense is going to light it up. And quite frankly, it's not to say that I have a lot of faith in Justin Fields as a passer. I have more faith that the Dolphins defense will have breakdowns in coverage more than the Jets actually being able to find people open. And I will say, as sort of a kind of turning point here, I've loved what I've seen on tape from Tanner Angstrom. You look at the tape, and there are guys running open consistently, game in and game out. If you have a quarterback who can locate open receivers and deliver catchable footballs, this Jets passing offense should be very, very good. I think it happens. I think it all comes together against the Dolphins. They'll be close for most of the game. Couple late field goals, maybe a late touchdown puts it away and puts the final nail in the coffin for McDaniel and the Dolphins.
Unreal. Nick Faria somehow finding a way to not just pick the Jets, but to have them winning by 2 scores.
Dolphins stink. I'm not saying it would take.
Go to the Jets.
You're absolutely right. But the Jets don't have a team meeting after week 1. That's a massive difference here. Massive difference.
I hope you're right. I do. I really do. Nick, enjoy your weekend. We will talk to you soon after
Absolutely.
The Jets win 34-21. You said 34-21 on Monday night. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Nick Faria calling his shot. Let's go. Out to fire my dad again and everyone who came to Tampa last week. Watch the full recap video. I posted it as a regular video open for everyone to watch if you missed it. Before we bring on our next guest for a segment we do Fridays on the show, Bites and Breakdowns with Arielle Nash, I want to talk about ZipRecruiter calling all hiring managers. ZipRecruiter will make hiring easy for you. We know hiring, it's not easy. It's time consuming. You're waiting for the right candidates to apply. You're sorting through resumes. You try to get in touch with candidates. You don't hear back from them. ZipRecruiter is going to make it as easy as it's ever been to hire the right people for the jobs you need filled. Their latest tools and features, they speed up the process and they find the right people for your roles. And you could try everything I'm about to tell you for free if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter's new advances, you can easily find and connect with qualified candidates in minutes. You see a candidate you're interested in, unlock their contact info instantly. Over 320,000 new resumes are added to ZipRecruiter monthly, which means you can reach more potential hires and fill roles sooner. ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site based on G2. Use ZipRecruiter, save time hiring. 4 to 5 employers who post on Zip get a quality candidate within the first day. And if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio right now, You could try it for free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Olive Oil Sports, she's the queen of the line. Football and flavor, she's cooking up hot. You love the Jets, you'll love her too. She's got a touchdown recipe just for you.
All right, Arielle Nash, Olive Oil Sport, back with us for another week. Ariel, 1, what are we eating this week? And 2, how are we feeling despite an 0-3 start for our New York Jets?
I love Nick's positivity. I was like, wow, I was not that positive on this game for the final outcome. I still got the Jets, but I was like, that's high scoring.
You're going to pick the Jets every week. Let's be real.
I'm going to pick the Jets every week. I was saying, I feel like I go through this thing where right after the loss, I'm like in the room crying. Then I'm like, they suck for like a few days. And then by like Wednesday, I'm like, guys, we're the best football team in the National Football League. It's fine.
Here we go.
Okay. So
Were you at the Cardinals game last night, by the way?
Oh, yeah. A little reminiscent. I was like, this field goal. There we go. I was like, wow, who needs Baker Mayfield when you have Sam Darnold? Wow. Like,
Love Sam. I'm happy for Sam. I'll always root for Sam.
I'm happy for Sam, too. I was like, it was a good game, though. I was like, are we about to get overtime? No. But, all right. So, for today, I have plantains and black beans. I don't know if you guys can see. So, this is for our Miami game to represent kind of like Little Havana, Cuba. And there's like this hotel near me called the Scott, and they have like, it's like full like Cuban like whole like design, and they have this like little canal club restaurant. So I went and bought these plantains and black beans, and they're so good. The plantains are a little old, but I will eat one right here because like they're extremely good.
Let's go. Love it. I like how you didn't just do the classic, like you get like a Cuban sandwich. Oh, it's Miami, Cuban. You went with something a little different.
You have to be creative. I know. I was like, what are we doing? And I also love plantains. These are like the Tostones version, but have you ever had the sweet plantains where they like bake them and they're like covered in like, have you ever had them?
No, never.
You need to get yourself some. They're so good. You can get them at like Brazilian restaurants too, but they're like a Cuban classic. So that's my representation of Miami for this
Well
week.
done. Well done. And now, have you been to Miami before?
Yeah, I lived actually in Del Rey, which is like 45-ish minutes north of Miami. And my grandparents lived in Florida, so I used to go there all the time. So love Miami. I love like all like like the Brickell area, I think. And then I went to their Cuban cafe in Little Havana, Versailles, and it's so good. So, I mean, I hate the Dolphins, but Miami's a cool spot.
Yep. I was there for the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Food scene, great. Loved being down there. Can't stand the football team.
It is. I know. It's very lively out there. They have like that same thing, the Smorgasbord. I went there. They have it in Brooklyn too. So they do have a good food scene. They have really good ice cream down there too. There's like this one place, Salt and Straw. So good.
So that's the bites portion.
That's the bites.
Bites and breakdown. Now the breakdown portion, Ariel. How do the Jets win a damn football game?
I don't know. I feel like it's like this is like my main thing. I feel like with our defense, I feel like we keep talking about it, but they just need to like actually like make a play. Like, what is it? Isn't Miami and the Jets the only team right now that hasn't had a takeaway?
That is correct. We are the only two teams.
Right. So that's like a problem. Like, we can't have that. So I don't know. I feel like that's honestly like the main thing that we have to work on, and like to actually win the game. Like, whoever wins the turnover battle is going to be winning this game. And my thing is, it's like, okay, you've literally seen the last 3 games that the Dolphins have played. You've seen Tua throw directly to people. Like, you have to make a play on that. Like, it's like not an option anymore. And I feel like we can. So I'm just like, we need to like actually make the play. I was saying in my video, like, don't just like let them, like, don't like let Achane run and then take him down. Like, just like take him down immediately and then like punch the ball out and then grab it. You know, like that's kind of the situation.
Now, you were a big Justin Fields truther before the year started. Are you excited that Justin is back, in all likelihood, starting at quarterback on Monday?
Yes, I'm extremely excited. That's so funny. Literally, my friend at work, they're like, wow, it's the biggest Justin Fields truther. So that's kind of my name now. So great to have it proof. I'm sure you all would want that to be accurate. So I'm like, this he's crazy. He's a crazy athlete. I'm like, week 2, we just got to put that behind us. Like, let's see what Justin Fields got.
So you think Fields back? Can the Jets? Because I think they got to run the hell out of the ball if they're going to have a chance to win. Miami's allowing 145 per game on the ground.
Yeah.
Can they get the running game going? I do think Fields being out there will help open some things up there.
Yeah, I feel like Fields out there. I think Fields is a way better matchup for this game than Tyrod, just because of like his legs. So I feel like he definitely can like get out and scramble and make plays, but also like with Brees, like get him going and like everyone's saying, don't run Braylon Allen just like right up the middle. Let's like not do that. But no, get the run game going and like also like the screen game, like we were saying too, like throw like Brees can catch a ball, like throw it to him and then like have him run for like a 50-yard touchdown. That's what I was saying. Like that can be done. So like, yeah, I feel like threaten it a little, like show, like I also think though, like Garrett versus this secondary, I was saying like throw a go ball to him, like we're gonna come down with it. So like I feel like throw a few deep shots out there, but yeah, like mostly threaten that and then be like, all right, but they're running the ball and just like keep them on their toes a little bit. So they're like, what's happening? And then just exploit it. Hope they bust coverage again. That's the move. I think we're going to win.
I have some sad news for you. Brownlee probably not going to play. In fact, I think at this point, it's safe to say he's not going to play. So maybe in the future.
I know. I am kind of bummed about that, but I feel like we kind of knew that, right? I was so excited they made the trade, though. I was like, okay, at least we're like showing something. I was like at work and I looked down. I was like, what is happening? So I don't know. I feel like our secondary, we have to like improve, like from like last week on defense. I don't know. I'm just like,
Uh-oh. Did we lose Arielle Nash in the middle of the bites and the breakdown? I think we did. The Wi-Fi monster got her. Or Six Rings hacked her. Hold on. Let's see if we got Ariel back with us. Ariel, you there?
am I there?
I think you're there. I hear you, kind of. You're very pixelated, and now I can't hear you. Restart your Wi-Fi. Apparently, it's raining bad in Arizona. Maybe that's what did her in. Rick Kent says Ariel gets her internet from Ricky NY. Honestly, Ariel makes more sense than Nick. Love it. Salem says, I think the Jets and the Dolphins are two of the three teams. And I think that they're the only two teams, according to my notes that I've done on this game, according to ESPN's research. They're the only two teams that have yet to force a damn turnover in this game so far, or on the season, I should say, which, I mean, it's unacceptable. Especially because that's what Glenn's defenses did in Detroit. They would give up yards, but they would make plays. And I'll take that any day of the week. Any day. Because in the NFL, everyone moves the ball now. Especially like you saw it last night. The field goal kicker yesterday, all Seattle needed to be put in a position to win the damn game was the Cardinals kicker not kicking the ball past the 20. So then Seattle got the start with the ball at the 40. They made one first down, and with kickers today who can all hit from 60, it feels like, you're already in field goal range. So like everyone moves the ball. You got to be able to force turnovers, sacks. Like that's the type of stuff we need. Anyway, I believe Arielle Nash has figured out the magic of internet. And let's see if we can hear her. Arielle, are you there?
Am I back?
You're back. Is it raining in Arizona? Someone said that's the problem.
Downpouring, like literally torrential. But it showed my Wi-Fi wasn't out, so I was like, what is happening? But I'm back, so sorry about that.
It's all good. Now, I forget what we were in the middle of talking about, but if you happen to remember, feel free.
I don't know. I'm like, what were we talking about? I don't know. It was something about, I was like, no, we covered Justin Fields, covered the defense. Was that what we left up on? How they
sounds right. Yeah. No turnovers all year.
So I don't know. That's like a problem. So I did have a dream though. This was funny last night that the Jets won and beat Miami. So I was like, all right, maybe this is promising.
This is I'm seeing it here. This is the third game all time between 2 0-3 or worse teams on Monday Night Football in history. So Jets, Dolphins, and then go back to 2019, Bengals at Steelers, Pittsburgh won 27-3, Washington at Dallas. Dallas won, oh my God, you imagine this? Dallas won 9-7. You imagine we get a 9-7 game on Monday night?
There's no way the defenses cannot. It's gonna be a good game. Like both of these teams, we've barely been. I mean, they did get blown out the first week for the Colts, but like and we did get blown out once. So that's like just one-off situations. But like we both have like barely been losing. It's like we're just like a play or so away. So if like I think it's gonna be a kind of high-scoring game. I had us winning 28 and Miami getting 17. I had our defense stepping up a little bit.
28-17. I love it.
Yeah.
Here's the stat that I was referring to. Also, some positive numbers on the Jets side from a Dolphins in primetime standpoint. Now, the Jets have been horrendous on Monday Night Football, so I'll get to that. But here are Tua's numbers in primetime, and I already gave this stat earlier. Mike McDaniel has the 6th worst record in NFL history in primetime games with anyone that has had a minimum of 10 games coached in primetime. So let's see. Here's the stat on Tua's numbers in primetime. Started off pretty good. First 7 starts, he had a winning record 4-3. Touchdown to interception ratio was 7-3. His last 7 starts in primetime, 1-6. Touchdown to interception ratio 8-8. QBR drops from 52 in the first 7 down to 43. Now, 50 is average for this QBR stat. This is a different quarterback rating metric that ESPN uses. So 50 is average. So Tua is 7 points below average there. So that's the positive. Now, here's the negative. The Jets on Monday Night Football, the last 10 seasons, it has been a house of horrors. Their record, 2-8, which is tied for 29th in the league. Here's the thing, though. One of those wins, and I think we lost Ariel with the internet again, so I will finish the segment on my own here. One of those wins, folks, was not really a win, if you recall. Aaron Rodgers' debut is one of the 2 wins over the last 10 seasons on Monday Night Football. So while the Jets did win the game, did they really? 2-8. So on one hand, McDaniel's terrible in primetime. On the other hand, Tua's been terrible in primetime. And then there's the Jets, who are awful on Monday Night Football over the last 10 years. Ariel's internet is working seemingly again. Here's the stat.
I'm like, what is happening? I heard it, though.
Does this make you nervous, how bad the Jets have been on Monday Night Football?
I mean, not really. I feel like this whole game is an anomaly. Like, I don't know. Like, everyone's just like, the records are like terrible for everyone. So I'm like, someone has to like break this curse of whatever it is. So I'm going with the Jets. I feel like it'll be fine. I'm like, my dad always tells me the story of the Monday Night Miracle. I was 2 months old. He like went to bed. He was like, what is happening? And then my mom was like, Mark, they won. He was like, what? So I'm like, maybe we'll get some of that energy in there.
Worst record by a head coach in primetime in the Super Bowl era. You can see Mike McDaniel's on there. Number 6 all time, 3-10. Brian Dable, 2-9. Dennis Allen, 2-10. How funny. Adam Gase, 2-10. Dick Sherwan, 1-13. George Wilson, 0-8-2. So some good and the bad here in the Bites and Breakdown segment with the Ariel.
There we go. It's fine. We'll pull out the win. We have to. And then our next 6 games, I was listening to your show before, including like this Miami one, we can win. Like, honestly, I feel like 5 of them. We got to start with Miami.
Let me guess. You're picking the Jets to win all 6 of these upcoming games.
Well, listen, I'm nervous for Denver, but I mean, I'll pick them, but I'm not sure. But I think the rest for sure we can win. This Miami game is extremely winnable. If we don't win it, it's going to be a problem.
Love it. Ariel, continued success. Tell people where they can find your channel.
Okay, yeah. So YouTube, Olive Oil Sport, and then I post like all of the same stuff on Instagram. There's a dot in between the olive oil and then the sport part because someone had Olive Oil Sport, and then TikTok, Olive Oil Sport. So yeah, if you want to watch me eat food and talk about the Jets, follow me.
Especially the food part because you know exactly what you're doing with the food.
I mean, I try. I go get good stuff. I go.
Well done. Arielle Nash with us. Bites and Breakdown. Another week on the show. Excellent job from Ariel there. Subscribe to her stuff. Does a great job. Loves the Jets. Super positive. You people say I'm too negative, which is ridiculous, but Ariel's very, very positive. Call it out, John K. Thank you for entering our raffle. Those of you who missed it, we are giving away a signed Wayne Corbett jersey at the end of the program. So your chance to win a signed jersey by Wayne and get yourself entered in the weekly raffle for this week featuring a signed CJ Mosley jersey, Bart Scott jersey, and New York Sack Exchange jersey. Couple super chats to get caught up on. Andrew C says, I have a t-shirt and a Sharpie. I'll tell you what, Andrew C, if you wear a Clemons jersey or make a fake Clemons jersey and they win, you got to wear that every single game day till they lose. Those are the rules. Mickey with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2, of course. Jake, what about trying Quinnen at defensive end? Phillips to Feely, Briggs rotate at DT. I'm just trying to find alternatives to not watch Clemons. Get me in the raffle. Mickey, we talked about this earlier. I love the suggestion. I'd love to see the Jets be creative that way. Right? Put Quinnen on the edge if you think he can win there. Dolphins don't have a starting tackle. I think it's their right tackle who's down. I'll take my chances. David says, I didn't expect a George Wilson mention on your show today. I don't know if anyone did. Did you expect a Dennis Allen, Adam Gase, Brian Daboll mention either? Pretty crazy that Gase is on this list. I was thinking of Gase's tenure with the Jets the other day. Don't ask me why. And I was thinking about this record of 2-10 in primetime. And I don't think he won a single primetime game when he was coaching the Jets. Because I was thinking about all the primetime games the Jets had with Gase. And it starts with that awful game against the Browns in week 2. They lose on Monday Night Football. And they don't have Darnold because he gets mono after the first game in 2019. So Simeon starts. Luke Falk breaks his leg. Or excuse me, Simeon starts and Myles Garrett breaks Simeon's leg. Luke Falk then comes in. He's probably the worst quarterback I've ever watched. So there's that one. And then if you remember, later in that year, the Jets, after they had this like great win over the Cowboys, we're thinking, wow, like, oh, here we go. Here comes, the Jets with Darnold. They're going to turn it on. Let's stick it to the Patriots. And they got totally embarrassed that night. So that happened. Then I was thinking about other Gase primetime games. They played the Ravens on a Thursday night that year and got totally destroyed. So those were the 3 primetime games I could remember in 2019. And then in 2020, they lost to Denver on a Thursday night in primetime with Gase. And it was after that they fell to 0-4, and I started rooting against the Jets that year and said, screw it. We're going nowhere. Lawrence is coming out. We need a quarterback. I got no choice. And then after that, I'm doing this all from memory, by the way. There was another primetime game that year. They played the Pats again on a Monday night, and Cam Newton was the quarterback for the Pats. And they had this like comeback against the Jets. The Jets almost won with Flacco playing because Darnold was hurt. And I think that was the last primetime game they had with Gase. I think they only had 2 in 2020. Now, someone brought up Darnold winning on Monday Night Football in his debut. He did not have Adam Gase as his coach for that one, though. That was still Todd Bowles in 2018. So keep that in mind. PBM, didn't Darnold beat the Lions? Yeah, that game was Bowles, though, not Adam Gase. Gase did not win one primetime game with the Jets as their coach. I think we just went through all of them, unless I'm missing any of the ones I mentioned. But I think, unfortunately, my memory is not good for much, but remembering painful Jet losses is something I do well. What do we have here? We got a super chat from Andrew C. Andrew C. getting a ton of raffle entries here. Andrew, I believe in you. This Wayne Corbett jersey is going to be yours. I feel it. He says, I think the Jets beat the Dolphins on Monday night. That's what I think. Andrew C. also writes in, I'm looking at you, Dave Briga. Andrew C., I don't know what Dave Briga has to do with any of this, but this is for you.
J-E-T-S. Yes. All right, let's go.
D Stern 80 is his username 80 in it because of Corbett. Maybe he's in the raffle for 1. D Stern, thank you for supporting the channel, my man. Thanks to everyone again for all the support, especially yesterday when we raised a lot of money for Tunnel to Towers. We had CJ Mosley on to help us with that, which was great. Still compiling all the money from the shows yesterday, and then everyone who sent the Venmo, and we're going to be able to make a big donation to Tunnel to Towers on behalf of the Asmaniacs, just like we did for Marty Lyons Foundation in July. So thanks again, everyone who contributed to that. We'll do a couple more calls. Last chance to get in on the show But first, a super chat from the big fella. Clemons is so bad, but what does that say about Watson McGregor? We needed to sign a defensive end and we blew it. And we all knew they blew it too, you know? Like, we all knew Michael Clemons sucks. We all knew this was a real problem. Only the Jets apparently didn't. And I get it, right? Oh, Watts, McGregor, they're bad. Play them, though. Why not? Can they really be worse? That's like my thing. Like, could they really be worse than what this is? Look at Clemons here. What are you doing? Again, what are you doing here? And like, there's plays like this every week when you go back and watch the All-22. Every week. Watch him get thrown out of the club by a tight end last week on that long run that Baker Mayfield had. That probably should have cost him the game if McDonald didn't have the unbelievable kick block. There's so many examples of that. And by the way, the tight end that was dominating Clemons on that play I'm referring to is not Rob Gronkowski, right? An elite blocker. It's Cade Otton. Cade Otton shouldn't be destroying Michael Clemons on any rep. But he was. Home stretch. Cash Money Mike. He's next. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, Zach? How you doing? Sorry, my bad, Jake.
I think you've done that twice now. Do you think my name is Zach for some reason?
No, that is twice, right? Once when at least I had an excuse last time. I was hammered. Real quick, I want to make it quick and simple. So when I was into you earlier in this particular show, I love the Mason Taylor bet. Love it. That is definitely one of my bets. I'm taking first quarter touchdown and anytime touchdown for Mason Taylor. I'm even going to throw in a little small piece at maybe 2 touchdowns as well. So two touchdowns for Mason Taylor. Yes, 2 touchdowns.
All right, I'll take it.
That's plus 5,000 if everybody's interested. And I love the fact that Breece Hall will get over 24 yards receiving. I think he will make up for that first game and do much, much better. So that's my take. I know it's small, but I want to get in there and say what's up. Cash Money Mike is always on the show, and I'm looking forward to it. Now I'm gonna start my Friday off with a great weekend. Finish up the Ryder Cup I got behind me. Unfortunately, USA is not doing too good today, but
it's 4-2 right now though. They're still on it.
Yeah, but they lost 3-1 in the morning time. So
yeah, but isn't it all in total? Like, it doesn't matter if it's morning or afternoon.
Correct. Yeah, it's 4-2. Correct. With 2 to go. And one of them and USA's tied with 1, and then I think the other one Europe just went up by 1. So
yep, up by 2 now. It looks like Fleetwood and Rose are up on.
Fleetwood and
Griffin
Rose,
and
man.
Bryson.
I know. And let me say, those are 2 of my favorite players. But obviously, I'm going for USA. But Fleetwood and Rose are 2 of my favorite players. And obviously, I grew up in Bethpage, so it's in my neck of the woods, even though I don't live there no more. But my sister did tell me the traffic down there is crazy. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the show. And hopefully, I win that win for bet to go along with my Kevin Mawai. And, we got Sunday free, so I'm going to play golf Sunday, which is great. And I'll catch the game on Monday night. And looking forward to seeing you guys on Monday night. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cash Money Mike, check it in. And also Jet Life in the house says, my boy Mike, thank you for them drinks, bro. Cash Money Mike was buying people drinks at the party on Saturday. That's what you do when you win $750 in a cash raffle with a bunch of crazy Jet fans. Yeah. Hey, I meant to say this earlier. Happy birthday to a good friend of the show, 72 years young. Happy birthday to Joe B. We are mama way. Hopefully the Jets get a win for Joe on Monday because they could not win one for me or Fireman Ed last week. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple calls left. A legend is on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jade Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy, I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
Oh no. Mikey. No. Mikey. What? Mikey? I see you, but we can't hear you. Mikey. Ah. Mikey. Mikey going once. Mikey going twice. Mikey. He's not there. Wah, wah, wah. Sorry, Mikey. Try and call back if you figure out how to do it. On that note, let's say hello to Barbarossa. Hello, good sir.
Hey guys, what's going on? Man, this really sucks. Like, it's tough, like almost not looking forward to a Monday night game, but like something's got to give. Like, one of these shitty teams has to do something. So if it's our team, I'll be happy about that. And like,
Why not us? Why not our bad football team?
right, yeah, like, can we do something well? Can we do something correct for once? Like, something's got to go our way. Something, the ball's gonna bounce. Like, something has to give. Like, it really does. And if not, then you know what? We'll just talk about the draft until last freaking week or whatever, and that's gonna suck. But I'm really ready for something to go our way and be like happy on a but that's not Sunday though, so it's at least the weekend won't get ruined. But I just wanted to say hello and like just be strong and like just cheers to everybody. This is building character. If you're young and watching this, you're building character. If you're old and you've just been through this, then you're displaying character. That's what we got to think about it. Cheers, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barbarossa. Cheers to you. Leon says that this guy looks like my alcoholic uncle. I'll tell you what, Barbarossa would be a damn good uncle. Burkinator says, happy birthday, Joe B. Legend. I hope that extra super chat reels in the Corbett jersey. Joe, bring me luck. Good luck, Burkinator. And good luck to all of us Jet fans, man. We could use a win, right? In honor of Joe B's birthday, I will play you this.
I hate this team. I hate them. I hate them.
And then I'll play you this.
Little Victor Cruz dance. Oh, Victor. Woo. We're doing a little salsa, baby. Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. Little salsa, baby. Yeah. Unreal. All right, last chance here. Now, Mikey Midnight called back in, but I can't see him. But maybe we could hear him this time. Mikey, are you there? Mikey? Mikey Midnight, are you there? Mikey? Mikey? Starting to think he's not there, folks. I don't think he is. I don't think he is. It's unfortunate. We'd love to have you, Mikey. We really would. In the meantime, unless anyone else calls in, we've reached the closing portion of the show. Now, I had a guy on the line, but nothing seems to be working today because as I was about to play his intro, he dropped off. So that's incredibly disappointing. So while I stall for a little time here, I want to remind people this is your last chance to enter our Wayne Corbett jersey raffle. Also, the show's available as a podcast. Keep that in mind. And I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out our most recent Patreon subscribers because we did get a couple of you over the last day. Huge thank you to Christopher Wilson, who signed up after today's show. He made his first call today and became a Patreon member. He signed up for the year, so he saved 15%, and he earned 10 raffle tickets for the weekly raffle. Spencer Green, Jay Bad, and Brian Shopsis, our most recent Patreon subscribers. All right, I'm going to try Mikey one more time because now I can see him. It might work, folks. Mikey, are you there? No. I don't know what's wrong, Mikey. Now we can't see you either. All right. We tried. But we have a good closer on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Holy shit, look at that beard! He has a beard, he's the man. Ain't no Santa Claus. Papa Jet loves the Jets. He's one handsome son of a bitch. He's Papa Jet.
Jake,
Papa Jet, how are you?
You got me?
I got you, Papa.
I didn't know I was the closer. I didn't know it was finishing up this quick or whatever. But
yeah, well, we're 90 minutes in, not a ton of people on hold. I don't want to just do a show for doing a show. I want every minute of this show to matter, Papa Jet.
You got to enjoy life too, Jake. So
I appreciate it.
I had to call in because it is Miami week, and I was listening this morning, and Fireman Ed was on, and my two all-time favorite games. I mean, there was some good playoff wins. The one against the Raiders, we weren't expected to win, and we won that one 17-14. I think it might have been the Mud Bowl year. But my all-time two favorite were against Miami in the regular season. Number two would be the Monday Night Miracle. But number one, Jake, was the Marino against O'Brien. It was in 1986, and I even wrote some of the stuff down. But that game was back and forth. It was the best game I ever seen. Marino passed for 448 yards, 6 touchdowns. O'Brien passed for 479 yards, 4 touchdowns. So between them, they had 927 yards and 10 touchdowns. The Mark brothers, Duper and Clayton, had 328 yards between them. And Al Toon had 111 yards. And Wesley Walker had 194 yards and 4 touchdowns with only 6 receptions. So he averaged over 30 yards reception, but that was the best game. So what I suggest, if some during the off season, some rainy Saturday, if you got nothing to do, just YouTube it. Even if you watch like the fourth quarter and overtime, because the Jets tied it up on the very last play. It was like a 20-yard pass to Walker. And I think Miami got the ball first and the Jets got it. And then O'Brien hit him for like a 45-yard bomb. So, it was just a great game. But
yeah, I mean, there's been so many of them. Obviously, people will bring up, from a Jet standpoint, the Monday Night Miracle for sure. I've rewatched that so many times over the years. Also, I'm trying to think some of my favorite Jet Dolphin games. The Jets played there in 2010, early in the year, on a Sunday night, and they had it was like a back and forth game, and they pulled away late in the fourth quarter. Sanchez hit, I think, Braylon Edwards for a touchdown after he was Rex suspended him for the first quarter of the game because he was out late. I think he might have got a DUI or something like that. I forget, but that happened when they beat Miami in 2006 on Monday Night Football as part of the run to get into the playoffs that year with Chad. Chad hit Leon Washington on a screen pass that went 65-plus yards. That was a big one in the rain on Christmas Day. Trying to think of only positive ones here. I mean, Revis having the pick six against against the Dolphins when he was in coverage against Brandon Marshall on a Monday night game at MetLife. That was a great one.
See, you got way better memory than me. I'm sure if I saw the replay, it'd be like, okay, I remember that. But man, you got awesome memory. But the 86 one, I'll never forget it. And
51-45. Yeah, we showed the box score the other day on the show. It's crazy.
Yeah, even the Monday Night Miracle, right? That was the Jumbo Elliott play, right? In for a pass for a touchdown, I think. Yeah.
And Schwarzenegger on the broadcast predicted the Jets were going to come back.
Yeah, unbelievable. But hey, hopefully we win this week, and because we need one, and hopefully we can go from there and start rebuilding this whatever it is up. But have a good weekend, bud.
Papa, excellent call. Screw the Dolphins, man. Let's get a win. Jetstream says, let's get this win. Unfortunately, Dolphins might make the right decision and fire McDaniels after the win. You know what? Let them fire their coach. And let the Jets be able to say that they're the reason that put the final nail in the coffin. How about it? Johnny Bobani has gifted 5 channel memberships. Oh, yeah. Burkinator says, Jake, FYI, J-Bad, the newer Patreon member, is me. I need to change that. Burkinator, change your username to Burkinator, and I will never make that mistake again. And also, Burkinator, change it so when we update the list of names at the beginning of September, everyone can see that you're a Patreon supporter, because I want to thank you for supporting the show. Turn Up the Jets says, Jake, awesome to meet you last weekend. Turn up the Jets. Likewise to you. Can we please, for the love of God, get a W on Monday? Last thing I want to see on my feed are mock drafts in October. I completely agree. That's the last thing any of us want to see. Unfortunately, that's where we're headed if they don't start winning games. Because right now, the team with the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, according to tankathon.com, is in fact the New York Jets. Now, there's a bunch of other 0-3 teams, but based on strength of schedule being the weakest, that's why the Jets are projected number 1. And for the sake of it, who do the Tankathon folks have the Jets selecting? Lenoris Sellers, quarterback, South Carolina, which feels like a logical pick on September 26th because they need a quarterback, and he might be the best one. And I say might because it's September and a million things change between now and then, as we all know. All right, it's almost time for the raffle. I got to finish putting together all the names. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a short clip. When we come back, we will spin the Wheel of Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the best of our trip in Tampa.
Down in Tampa where the sun beats down, Jake Asman's a king wearing his birthday crown. Fireman Ed's got the chanting his alarms, and Earl Christie's here where the legends are sung. We may not win, but we'll make it right. Green and white storm in the floor tonight. It's Maniacs Unite. Let's paint this town from the bay to the sky. We'll never back down. Rick and Dave steal the show. Hearts on fire. 4%ers bring the heat, lifting us higher. Tampa's turning green tonight as Maniacs Unite. Tailgates roar, the beer flows cold. Stories of battles both new and old. The Jets might stumble, but we'll stand tall. In this wild green army, we answer the call. The stadium's loud, the flags take flight. We're here to party, not just for the fight. There's Maniacs Unite. Let's paint this town from the bay to the sky. We'll never back down. Rick and Dave steal the show. Hearts on fire. 4%ers bring the heat, lifting us higher. Tampa's turning green tonight as Maniacs Unite. There's Maniacs Unite. Let's paint this town from the bay to the sky. We'll never back down. Rick and Dave steal the show. Hearts on fire. 4%ers bring the heat, lifting us higher. Tampa's turning green tonight as Maniacs Unite.
Yeah. Shout out to Gator for making that. Unbelievable. I love Ryan saying, is that Jake on the vocals? I wish I could sing that way. My God. What a video. Thanks to everyone who sent in their photos to our Discord. Special thank you to Festa from the Jets fan club in Tampa. He posted a ton on their Facebook group, so we were able to get a lot of that from there. Truly was a great weekend until 1 o'clock Eastern last Sunday. All right. On that note, time to spin the wheel of champions, right? We got a Corbett signed jersey to give away.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Someone's going to win a Wayne Corbett jersey. Mr. Third Down, number 80 on the field, number 1 in your hearts, who had some monster games in his career against the Miami Dolphins. So, need some Jet receivers, not named Garrett, because I know he'll play well, to bring it on Monday night. All right, here's how this works if you're new around here. If you entered, you're in it, but only one can win it. If your name is called by the Wheel of Champions, you have to email me your name and address so I know where to send your signed Corbett jersey to. If you don't win, you automatically qualify and are entered in our weekly raffle for the 3 prizes we're doing on Tuesday's first show. Good luck to everybody. But only one can win, and we find out who that winner is right now. The winner of the Corbett jersey is Jetstream 1989. Are you kidding me, Jetstream? Jetstream, you already won 1 throwback jersey earlier this week. Yesterday, and now second day in a row he's won a prize. Pretty sick. I think Jetstream, did you win? Well, you won the Garrett Wilson jersey yesterday, if memory serves, and now you got a Corbett jersey back-to-back days. God, it's good to be Jetstream 1989 right now. Give him a Jet chant. Let's go. Well deserved. Jetstream, just respond to our email thread and we'll get that taken care of for you. But congratulations, and again, thanks to everyone who supports these raffles. We'll keep them going as long as the community keeps backing them. So we try to step it up on Football Fridays. If the Jets win Monday, I plan to do like a huge signed item for our first win. All right. Might be an Aaron Glenn signed jersey, but we'll see. Can we get a win first? We'll worry about that then. All right. Love all you guys. Thanks for watching the shows this week. Doubt we'll have a show tomorrow, but if there's breaking Jets news, you never know. Sunday, I'm on the radio with Mike Tannenbaum from 8 a.m. until noon. So full week number 4 preview. We'll be breaking everything down from a Jet angle too. We'll preview the Monday night game, of course, as well. But if you want to hear me and Mike on Sunday, listen to our radio show together, New York Game Day, from 8 to 12 p.m. So I'm looking forward to that. And then Monday, I'm still doing 2 shows and a post-game show. So Monday's going to be one of the longest days ever, and it will all be worth it if the Jets win. So that's a look at the upcoming programming for you. But again, thanks to everyone who watched. You guys are the best. Go Jets, everybody. Tune into our guy, Dylan Terraman, at 7 o'clock tonight. He'll be on YouTube talking Jets and who knows what else. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. Jets, 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 Jets.
I'm Beastbreaker and I love Harry Potter. I'm a magical fart wizard. Abracadabra, bitches. I'm gonna blast ass in my diaper. Get me a bag of dicks. Get me a bag of dicks. Get me a bag of dicks. Bag of dicks. Keep up. Bag of dicks. Bag of dicks. Bag of dicks.
Hey, Bobby, if you can choose what animal you came back as, what would you pick?
A cat.
A cat?
A cat? Like a fucking house cat or like a tiger? A fucking house cat. I want to be a cat. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Bro, like an eagle or a hawk or some shit. It's the butt hurt Bobby minute. You're the hemorrhoid. Meow. What are you laughing at, Asman? What you guys think? I want to be a house cat. No. Meow. Shut the fuck up.
And here's this to you too, right there. Now I'm getting pissed. One more crack, I'm ending the show.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.